NFL record for the worst completion percentage.
This is a game you need to win.
This is a divisional matchup against a team you should beat. This is how you stack up wins. Welcome back to i75Live, episode 36, episode after the Masters, episode before the NFL draft. We'll have one more before the NFL draft, but we do have a guest to we brought back on AJ to talk a lot about the NFL draft, leading up to it, because he was involved in that. That will be a little bit later. To start the show, though, what everyone was happy about this weekend. Maybe shed a tear this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Because there were a lot of grown men crying this weekend because of Rory McIlroy. He finally gets it done and wins the Grand Slam after many years of... He went from being the biggest choke artist in golf history to now being the sixth member of the golfers who have won the Grand Slam.
He almost choked.
He almost did it.
Oh, my God. He had every opportunity and he tried his hardest.
The water ball on 13.
Oh, my God,
The putt on 18.
The double
what
on
was he
hole
thinking
one?
over that 3-foot putt? Where what was he thinking? What was going through his head?
Don't do this
and
again.
And then he missed it.
Well, I remember because we were watching it together. I was like, he's going to miss it again. Wouldn't it be hilarious? And it goes to a playoff and then he loses.
God.
Just, me being the just fan of he's done this before. Why would he not do it again? He did it again, and I remember just bursting out in laughter because he did it again.
No way.
Goes to a playoff. He had a really...
Hits two shots out of his mind.
His second shot onto the green to get him, it was 3-4 feet or something like that.
On the hole, he just bogeyed.
Yeah, it was a hell of a shot to get on the green. Now, I will say, too, Justin Rose
Dude, he shot -7 on Sunday.
That, and it's really unfortunate because...
He's 3 shots away from a Grand Slam. I saw that.
And the last time he was top for the Masters in contention to win,
also lost.
He was facing Garcia. It was also in a playoff, and Garcia was a golf... Dad can attest to this. Yeah. He was... one of those players like Rory where it was he's been there so many times, so close, and he kind of ran into destiny where it was it was only a matter of time before he was going to win. Justin Rose just unfortunately,
gets it twice.
Now he ran into the same thing with McIlroy where it's if I was Justin Rose, I'd be dude, what?
The way that I would
feel any better, guys.
So if I was Justin Rose, I would feel like the quarterbacks that had to play Tom Brady. They finally get to the Super Bowl, but I got to play Tom Brady.
Are you
because
kidding me?
Everybody wanted, they definitely did want Rory to win.
100%.
Right? And they wanted Garcia to win back when it happened, back in 17 or whenever it was.
No, it was.
And the poor guy, the poor guy, just Justin Rose, so close.
So close. And he, like you said, he shot a -7 at the Masters on Sunday. He put himself in obviously a very good position to win.
Yeah.
He just unfortunately ran into, I think, a little bit of destiny.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Yes,
Bryson DeChambeau collapsed.
Yeah, it was.
He had the lead after 2 holes.
But guys, before we get to that though, Dawson, you know the books that I've written and the importance of the power of our words that we say. Expectations.
It's sitting right behind you, Chris.
It absolutely is. And the funny thing is though, is that when Rory went out on Saturday, and he carded 3.
It was
6 times. The first 6 holes, right? He was 5 under par. When they went out right before his final round, they asked him, "Are you going to be able to do that again?" And he said, "Yeah, probably not." And I literally
the first
looked
hole
at
the next
Dawson
day,
and I said, "I can't believe he said that." And there's nothing wrong with being optimistic, but really, why would he say it? And then he goes out and shoots a 6. Gives up those 2 strokes, and he did finally get it right.
Gives up the lead after.
Boy, throughout that round, I thought there were many times I thought those words are going to come back to bite you.
Yep.
And it was he would have an amazing shot, and then it'd be dude, you're trying to lose this. Just not make a mistake, and you're going to win. Yep. And he just would do something where it was there's no way he doesn't win, and then it's what are you doing? Why are you?
I'll tell you that shot. I think it was on hole 15 where he curved it around the tree.
And
oh my god!
On the par 5 over
the
when he made that
dude,
shot, I was dude, he's winning. Come on, how do you do that?
What a
That was like the some Tiger Woods.
It was one of the best shots
yeah.
I have ever seen.
I agree.
Well, even DeChambeau though, so you could see expectations again, even with DeChambeau, because he came out and said, "I'm going to win." Right? He said, "It's going to be a battle. We're going to win this thing." But his mind, I think, was totally off because how long did he stay at the range till it closed on Saturday night? Like he knew he didn't have the shots he was going to need to win. So he was dealing with some demons, I think, and it showed because he had a very poor round.
He did.
To kind of recap though, our little game, our little fantasy draft game that we did.
Yeah. Experience wins.
Chris won. He shot all 4 of his golfers made the cut. He had a really good team. He shot -21 for the tournament.
-21. That's like when I go out and shoot a normal round of golf.
All right.
Dylan, I believe, finished with -15 for the tournament.
That was only because I picked Rory.
Pretty solid, and I finished with a whopping -5 on the tournament.
Pathetic, Dawson.
I kept it and make the cut. Cantley didn't play very good.
Man.
I had DeChambeau. That was probably my only light of. But yes, Chris won, so round of applause.
Yeah.
Good job, Chris.
You won Masters weekend.
We'll come up with a penalty.
For the guys that we talked to with Vanny, Gunny, and all them, I did win our big one though.
You did. We did this in a bigger scale.
In a more complicated version. So I did win that one. So I know ball, but no golf. It was a fun tournament to watch. There were a lot of good storylines. There were a lot of, and like I said,
my first Masters.
Yeah,
weather was great.
Weather was great. There was no weather delay, and you may or may not have shed a tear because of.
Although I wasn't very happy that they moved the pin in honor of Jack Nicklaus on 16.
I understand why they did it. And it was cool, but that hole is my favorite because you didn't see it on Sunday. Normally the 16th par 3, they put the hole literally to
right
where
down in the trough where that ball
funnels to it, and there's a lot of hole-in-ones. There's a lot of really close shots. So on 16 this week, Jack Nicklaus, they put the tee where he hit a putt. It was famous. It was some long way, and so it kind of eliminated that hole of being the really cool. There could be a really cool hole-in-one because if you hit it perfectly, it funnels right down. So that was a little disappointing because that's one of my favorite holes to watch.
That is the Sunday Masters pin on 16.
Like me and Dawson will be hitting hole-in-ones in this Wisconsin golf course when we go next Saturday.
I don't know about that.
Oh yeah, baby.
But yes, Chris is our Masters winner. Masters tournament was great. Yes. Roy, finally, I can get to say that I watched someone
Grand Slam.
Yeah.
A guy that did the Grand Slam. We've seen him live a couple of times.
I saw him win the PGA tournament championship a couple years ago with Vanny. That was actually my first golf tournament we went to. So that's really cool.
You saw him late last year. We
saw him last year. I actually have a video of
It's on our Instagram.
I was right. So it was funny. I was walking. It was a par 4. It was a dog leg left, and I was walking to the concession, and it was you and Vanny were somewhere.
Like, that's Rory.
And all of a sudden, I hear a ball come zipping by me, and hits the tree, and
almost
I was
hit you. It was pretty close.
I was like, sweet, I'm gonna stand next to the ball, see whose ball it is. Fucking Roy McIlroy comes walking up, and he's like, "Did I, in his accent, did I hit anyone?" And I was like, "No, dude, you're right here though." And so we got to see his process and what he talks to his caddy, and so that was really cool. But yes, it's pretty cool that I not only have seen him play in real life because I didn't get to see Tiger play in real life, and Tiger was the last person to win the Grand Slam, but now I have seen a Grand Slam winner, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that might be the hardest thing to do in sports.
Grand Slam
is win the Grand Slam in golf.
I wouldn't argue with
one of the hardest things to do in sports with how competitive it's gotten to where it's like when Tiger was doing it, Tiger was just so ahead of everyone to where he was just beating the shit out of anyone.
That is true.
And nowadays there's just the competition is insane.
It's flooded.
So it's going to be extreme. And they say, because you look at the years of when these golfers have hit the Grand Slam, it's like every 25 years.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see it for 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
Well, for instance, there's 2 Grand Slam winners since I've been alive.
Who's the closest right now? Now that Rory is
a couple guys at 2.
There's got to be a couple guys at 2.
No one's at 3.
No one's at 3. Scheffler has 2 majors, but they're both in the Masters, so he has to win the 3 other majors.
So no one has 3. It's only 2.
I think some guys have 2. I don't think anyone has 3.
I'll find out for you guys.
Yeah.
Phil?
No,
technically
Phil
could, right?
Well, and Phil's actually just this week. Phil dropped out of the top 1,000 for the first time in his career.
Well, he's not getting any points because he's playing at Live.
But,
Forgot he is Live now. Wow. Yeah.
But yes, Masters weekend. Another big one that's going down right now, actually, and leading into the full picture of what it's going to look like. The NBA playoffs.
Yeah,
all the play-in games. Tournament. What they've been yesterday?
They started Tuesday. They played the first couple games, and then yesterday they played the last ones. And Friday is when they finalize. So the games on Tuesday and Wednesday determined the 7 seed for the playoffs. So the Magic ended up beating the Hawks, destroyed them, and Trae Young got ejected, played terribly. So I mean, who knows what's going to happen there? And then. I
watched this one last night. It was the Heat and the Bulls.
Yeah, the Heat and the Bulls. So that one was to determine who moves on to the second play-in game to play the loser of that top-seeded game with the Hawks. So the Hawks and the Heat now play Friday at 7 to determine the 8 seed, and they will go play the Cavaliers. And so good luck there. That's why I kind of like the play-in tournament's kind of pointless because like
and the inevitable's
you're playing the two best teams. Like there is no chance in hell that you're beating them, especially this year. The Thunder and Cavs and the Celtics and the Rockets. Rockets are the one team that I think could drop out of this, but every other team. Wild that I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it's better for numbers. It creates more competition later in the season.
More games to play.
More things to play for. Yeah. But speaking on the Bulls losing, I was not aware of this at first. I was under the impression that we were out of the running for the NBA draft lottery. But the NBA draft lottery is the 14 teams that didn't make the playoffs, including the teams that lost in the play-in. What did the Bulls do last night? We shit the bed, and I could not be happier. Thank you for giving me something to look forward to in a few months when the NBA draft comes and the NBA rigs it to send the next top star to one of their biggest markets in Chicago.
So now you want Cooper Flag
I've always wanted Cooper Flag, but...
No, you want him to go to the NBA instead of staying in college for another year.
We got championships to win in the biggest league in the world, not secondary, all right?
Disregard what I said a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Screw going back to Duke and playing for a national championship.
Come to Chi-Town. Chicago would put you on a pedestal like you've never been on before.
I would probably give you that one.
Dude. Oh, they would love it. But moving on, is Grizzlies and Warriors played.
Hold on. Vanny would think that would be hilarious if Cooper Flag ended up playing for the Chicago Bulls. Just because of your little dynamic that you guys have.
No, I would actually become the Cooper Flag enthusiast he says I am.
That would be pretty funny.
Like, you think I was a Cooper Flag enthusiast, mentioning him, a couple times throughout the year, wait until he's wearing red.
That'd be pretty funny.
Oh boy. Oh man.
It'd be a full circle moment.
Oh, exactly.
Just for our little group.
Yep. No, but no. Grizzlies and Warriors played earlier in the week as well. Steph and Jimmy put on a show, and I do think they could beat the Rockets, who are the 2 seed in the playoffs. But moving on a little bit to the actual matchups, I think of all the matchups that we have listed out right now, the most exciting is probably Rockets and Warriors. I think that's going to be fireworks through and through. Lakers and Timberwolves is going to be awesome. Luka, Anthony Edwards, LeBron, that's going to be a lot of fun. Nuggets and Clippers is another enticing one.
Well, especially with everything that kind of happened with the Nuggets.
Exactly. Yeah. Their coach. I mean, the Grizzlies fired their coach a few weeks ago, too. So they're another they still have to make it out of the play-in. They play the Mavs on Friday at 9:30. But the Knicks and Pistons is kind of a sneaky one. That's one of those kind of last year when the Magic and Cavs played and everyone was like, this sucks. But that series ended up going 7 games, and it was one of the most competitive of the first round. So that one, either team could win, in my opinion. And then Pacers Bucks, I've never really been interested in the Pacers. They don't really have a household name. I like Halliburton a lot, but other than that, the Bucks, but Damian Lillard's out. He's been suffering with blood clots in his calf. And they're never healthy. So the first round of the playoffs is normally you get hit or misses a lot. The last 2 rounds and the finals are really where you get good basketball games every night. And that's why I wish that it was like this for the regular season. I really do. because I love the NBA playoffs. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Well, it's very similar to why everyone watches March Madness.
It slows down a lot. They don't call as many fouls.
It's competitive bad.
Yeah.
You people care. You're not just out there just running to get through the game.
The atmosphere is amazing with the fans.
Yeah, no, and you have the fans all dressed up in like the same color shirts because they get out. So it's a great atmosphere. The problem is no one cares until it gets to this point.
Yep. And they tried creating some fake appeal with the in-season tournament that literally means nothing. It's an empty trophy. But I actually wanted to ask you a question. So we mentioned the Hawks and how Trae Young, shit the bed, tends to in big moments. I'm sure you're aware that many, many years ago, not many years ago, maybe like I think 5 or 6 when Trae Young came into the league, the Hawks drafted Luka Doncic. And then the Mavericks drafted Trae Young. And they swapped. So for as much shit as the Mavericks get for trading Luka, the Hawks had him first and they never let him touch the court. So if you're a Hawks fan,
wait a minute though. This is something Atlanta does, because didn't Atlanta also draft Brett Favre?
Did they?
I think
they really. Maybe it's just an Atlanta thing, but like think about it now. Looking at it now from a Hawks fan standpoint, how pissed would you be? One, because Luka's not even on that team anymore, and you have a feeling probably that Atlanta's not going to trade a guy like that. And on top of it, you've got Trae Young, who consistently throws games away.
So I listen to this Atlanta sports radio.
What do they think?
Every day. They hate it because they go, it's almost like not a curse, but it's like
well, it's like when Charlotte drafted Kobe Bryant and then traded him to the Lakers immediately. Same thing.
If I personally was a Hawks fan, seeing what Luka became, I would for one go, okay,
no one could predict that.
No one could predict that.
Yeah.
No one could go. You weren't like guessing like, hey, he wasn't going to need some huge entourage around him to be successful. Yeah. He was a star. He was a LeBron.
He was
a Kobe. Like Europe. He was that guy to where you didn't need to build everything around him in order to win games. So that's where I would look at it and go, because I think the Hawks have had, Trae. Who's the other point guard that they had last year? They traded away.
Oh,
and
you're
they
talking
had
about
problems.
Karis LeVert
No.
DeJounte Murray.
Yes, and they had problems because they were him and Trae Young were both ball handler. So that was a weird dynamic. To where if you had Luka, dude, none of that matters.
You need a ball handler.
He is
the ball handler.
Now, do I think though that it would have maybe the whole oh my God, he got traded and this is the craziest trade in the history. Do I think that happens if he's on the Hawks? I don't. That's really hard to tell. But if I was a Hawks fan or covered the Hawks or was on a radio show in Atlanta that was like, I had to talk about it. I had to be invested in it. And looking back on who I would have rather taken of Luka, who's been an all-NBA player every single year he's been. It's not even a discussion where that would have ignited, because I think Atlanta is a great sports city.
Oh, it absolutely
when your team is good. I mean, you saw when the Falcons made it to the Super Bowl, this place was popping.
Same with the Braves.
Same with the the Hawks. If the Hawks were good, Atlanta United when they're really good. I mean, they sold 80,000, 90,000 seats when it came to standing room only, for when Atlanta United is good. And now they're the World Cup. Some of the World Cup games are going to be here. So I can only imagine what that's going to look like, or whenever that is. I think it's...
Is it 2028?
I think it's a couple years.
It's a few years away.
It's a few years away. But they're already advertising it. And if you're telling me that you can get 80, 90,000 people at the Benz for an Atlanta United game against Montreal or whoever the hell they're playing.
A grass field.
Imagine all of a sudden you got freaking Brazil and you've got Argentina, or you got Portugal, or you got Spain coming in here to play. Holy shit. Like, I mean, there's going to be 100,000 people packed inside that stadium.
Well, Atlanta also, it's home to the biggest airport, or the busiest airport in the U.S.
Yes.
Biggest export. So
to answer your question, if I was a Hawks fan or covered the Hawks, I would be really upset knowing how that whole thing transpired. Dude. Because it's almost like you traded, I'm not going to say, you like traded away.
I'm pretty sure it was just a player swap.
You like traded away, that'd be like Patrick Mahomes getting drafted to whoever. you trade him to the Chiefs, and then he's now what he is on the Chiefs, and you're looking at that going, oh
my God.
So you guys, this is something that Atlanta does.
Yes, and that's the funny part. Is Atlanta sports?
This is what Atlanta does. So guys, in 1991, Brett Favre was drafted by the Falcons.
Oh man,
33rd overall pick. So he got drafted. Listen to this. He sat behind Chris Miller and Billy Joe Tolliver. He didn't play with those guys, and then literally the next season traded Green Bay for the 17th overall pick that Green Bay got from the Eagles.
And
so
who did the Falcons trade with that or pick? With
I don't know who they paid. I'd have to look and see.
Probably someone that.
I mean, who knows? But it just goes to show that this town knows how to trade away good players.
Well, and it's also another I know everyone says, well, we have the Braves. Well, have you looked at our record recently?
Wait, didn't Deion Sanders play for the...
Hold on, got
he did.
Yes, he traded away?
And also, the Braves tied a franchise record for the most strikeouts in a single game in franchise history. I believe at 19. So, 19 strikeouts
last night
against Toronto.
Oh, my God.
In Toronto.
They suck so bad
I think it was Bassett. They had one of their better pitchers. So it's not like it was some
We just can't get out of our
own
way right now.
We just really can't. But, I will say, though.
It's always the story with the Braves.
We are only 5 games behind the Phillies, and we have started like shit. For a season that's 140-plus more games, we are still right in it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a long season. It's just not. It's not what
It's not worth watching right now, is what you're saying.
I have it on in the background just to be like, oh, we're losing again. Cool, turn it off.
That's like me with my Chicago teams. Other than the Bears, the Bears are the only Chicago team where I will watch the entire game, regardless on if they're losing to the Chiefs by 40, and I get to see a garbage time DJ Moore touchdown, which that actually happened last year. No, 2 years ago. Sorry. Time flies when my team is shit.
I gotta say it. So the Falcons, with that pick they got, trading away Brett Favre, they picked Tony Smith, a running back from Southern Miss.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't even know who it is.
How long was he in the league for?
I'll have to look
that up. Good old
now.
Tony Smith.
That's funny.
But I think, speaking of which, I might as well go straight into football. We got the NFL draft coming up, and we are about to have our little conversation with AJ, talking about, that and some NIL issues. But yes, let's get that going.
We have our guest, like we mentioned, AJ Thomas. He was with us a couple weeks ago, our big Colts fan.
Oh, yeah.
We thought it would only be right if we had him on before the draft to kind of...
Absolutely.
We have a little bit of NIL talk with some Tennessee. I know that was a big one.
Crazy
But
stuff.
our big one with AJ is he is very well invested in the draft. He was kind of there for some scouting stuff, so we thought it was only right for him to kind of join the week before the draft to share maybe some final thoughts on what teams might do, what team is a couple players away, along those lines.
Let's go off first. So AJ, who do you think, of all the teams that need, a quarterback or a running back, who do you think is going to reach in the first round for one of those guys? Either try and trade up for Janty or trade up for Dart. Or Shador. Yeah, something like that.
I think it's more about where people are gonna fall. I don't think it's more of reaching, as in because me and you were talking about the whole Jalen Monroe and how he's getting invited to the draft.
Yeah, he's gonna be there.
And I'm thinking about it. Yeah, but you got to think in these GMs' minds, okay, if he's a prospect, if he's a raw talent, I might as well get him on that 5-year contract, because a lot of people don't know is, first round draft picks, they get 5 years. You get an option to
guaranteed
if I can that or not. So with Jalen Monroe, just he's gonna get that Lamar treatment. Remember when Ravens traded up back into the first round, the 32nd pick to get Lamar?
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with Jalen. Say if Jalen falls, and because right now the people that need quarterbacks are the Giants, but they already filled up with Russell Wilson and Jameis. So they got vets, though, but they need a future. So I don't really need to reach for a quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I can maybe trade us in a third to get back into the first to get Jalen Monroe at 32, then, then I can make something shake. So I think I think the Raiders are definitely going to take Genty.
Yeah.
What do you think the Steelers are going to do?
Oh, the Steelers.
But so With Aaron Rodgers, that's weird because Aaron Rodgers, I don't know. Aaron Rodgers is weird. I think
He is.
like at the end of the day, like you got to make a decision, bro.
Yeah.
And as a Steelers, like like we have what? When's the draft? Next week?
Yeah,
next
starts
Thursday.
next Thursday is round
Like,
1.
Okay, so he needs to make a decision within like what, a week? So
Yeah.
bro, like at right now, as if I'm the Steelers right now, like all right, I'm thinking, okay, I have the 21st pick. I need a quarterback. So I might like you can let Tyler Shaw, like I can get Jackson Dart at the end.
Yeah.
I really think Shadeur is gonna fall because people like the first picks are usually guys that are like, you know, four threes. They want all
The
the things
intangibles,
that you
yeah.
can't teach. But like Shadeur is not one of those.
Yeah.
Shadeur reminds me of a Geno Smith. You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
good
Like he's
comparison.
mobile and I'm gonna read the defense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, mobile
And
enough to where
and
if he has to, he can get out of the pocket, make some
Yeah.
plays, but also
He's a pocket QB
accurate.
yeah,
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but look, we're so like spoiled from Mahomes and
Yeah.
Josh Allen. Like we think that's good. Bruh,
Yeah.
when you're back there and you're holding the ball too long, bro, these routes are timed, bro. Like
Yeah.
everything is a timing. So if I can't get the
Yep.
ball out, that means you're not diagnosing the defense. That's why
Mhm.
when I told you with Caleb Williams, I don't really know if Caleb Williams is gonna be good because at the end of the day, you're going against grown men
Yeah.
and like we need timing. Like we need to get the
Mhm.
ball out now because we're trying to move the field. Every play is not gonna be a touchdown.
Yep.
Like some plays is just meant to get the 4 yards.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I don't know if y'all seen it during the college football year of the Notre Dame
Mhm.
OC yelling at the quarterback. He was like, "Do your fucking job.
Yeah.
Like, do your job. And throw if the flat right's open, throw the flat route."
Yeah.
So like things like that, I know Shadeur is gonna make it because he was trained since a young age with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He knows what the defense is looking for. So if you're like Shadeur is a good pick, but I don't think he's gonna be top 5 because they want that transcending
Yeah.
Yeah.
AR. But AR is not even, you know what I'm
AR.
saying? AR is not that. It's like,
No,
No,
but
he's not.
I, I think like right now, what it's looking like Ashton Genty to the Raiders. Browns are probably gonna take Hunter.
Yeah.
Carter's probably going to the Giants.
Yeah.
Um,
my team gets
What
screwed.
about
I
the
don't know if the Bears.
Broncos? I mean, I think
Bron-
it's very
Broncos
possible that the Bears take
Hampton.
Hampton at 10. I'm not gonna lie. If Janty's gone and say a guy like Tyler Warren
That's
is
what,
gone, I think Hampton could be the pick.
yeah, Hampton probably. Yeah, I can see that. And then Henderson to the Broncos
That would make sense.
because
Yeah.
I was watching. Look, watch John Gruden's QBs.
Oh
Right,
yeah.
I
Yep.
was
Yeah.
watching it
You like
with
Will
how.
Howard?
Yes, bro, he's back. He's back, and like he's on Bleacher Report, so now he can act like be himself and stuff. And so, bro, you can tell by how John Gruden like he likes Henderson because I was watching the Will
Henderson?
Howard one, and so yeah, Henderson definitely a third down back. Like teams that need that scat back, you know, that
He's a good
catch the
pass
ball.
blocker too.
Great. That's what I was saying. That's what I was
Great.
watching because it was Will Howard, and I'm seeing
Uh-huh.
him put his face in. Like, so
Yeah.
he's a great pick, and so there's a lot of guys that you don't really have to reach. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
you
true.
can let a lot of these guys fall to you. The
That's true.
team that does reach is gonna mess up because this draft class is so deep.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Well, on top, so like
Like you can
players, talk about NFL players that are already on teams. Like, who do you think we have it listed? Who could get traded on draft night? Like a Mark Andrews, like a Jalen Ramsey, Kirk Cousins could get moved, Jair Alexander, Trey Hendrickson. Like, there's a lot of options.
there's a lot, but like I don't look at that because the market on draft day is your young guys.
Yeah.
So why would I not? Why would I trade for an older guy if I can get a younger guy?
Well, they could be
And at the
using
end of
that
the
as a
day,
piece to
coaches
trade
are
up.
so stubborn. I I mean, okay, so all right, for let's use Jalen Ramsey for instance, right?
I think you
He's
get
about to
traded.
hit 30, or is he
Yeah.
30? I don't know.
You were talking about him
I think
last
he's in
night.
his
Yep.
10th year. Yeah, he's in his 10th year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would I draft him? Why would I trade assets and take on his contract
Yeah.
when I can draft what's the dude from ECU, the one that got hurt, cornerback?
I mean, it doesn't matter. You could take a 30-year-old cornerback who's been in the league a long time, or you can draft a 22-year-old, 21-year-old who has everything to prove for themselves.
Contract.
Yeah,
It's
that too.
Contract.
Yeah,
that's why I think Tyreek Hill is not getting traded. I don't think he can be. Outside of like the personal situation that's going on, nobody's paying for that contract for a wide receiver that's over 30. It's crazy.
No, that's it's but he's worth it though.
I would say,
at the end of the day, you gotta think of GMs as Mr. Krabs. Right? I gotta get the deal. Right? Every dollar is precious.
Money.
So like, if I can get, like for real. Like I'm trying to save money. I'm not trying to spend money. So that's why if you can get a rent free though, that's why a lot of these 30-year-olds they get 1 year, and then that 1 year is basically the rest of the money that we're probably not going to spend that year.
Yeah.
Right. Like at the end of the day, we have 260 million. If my rest of the my team is 230 million, I need to spend that 30 million. Just like with taxes, you got to spend your money. If you don't, then they're going to take it away, like all that. So in that instance,
you want to act like you're making bare minimum.
If there's a team that has, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if there's a team that has that salary cap that can spend what, I don't know what his contract is, what his cap space is, but I can take that, they probably would. Like I would want to, but we already signed the Colts signed Ward.
Yeah.
And he's 3 years younger?
That's true.
4 years, so I can
gave him a bag too.
3 years out of him, 2 years out of him.
Well, to say the least, I think we're in for at least a couple trades, it happens
every year.
It happens every year. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to kind of predict.
The Giants are definitely going to trade back in.
I think that's a good
quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, AJ, I heard, and I'm sure you've seen it, but there are some people, and it was on last week's episode because I mentioned it. There are some people saying that if Travis Hunter is there at 3, they should take Travis Hunter and then trade back into the first round and take Sanders. And then you end up having Travis Hunter, Malik Neighbors. You have
Tyrone Tracy.
Like, I mean, it's a crazy theory. It'd take a lot to happen, but it's not. I mean, it's something that I think would be very interesting if Travis is at 3.
Yeah.
But to say the least, I think the draft we're going to be there, obviously. So that will be a cool aspect of it that I've never, had before.
It's really cool.
But there will be some crazy things that happen, whether that's teams trading up to take a Jackson Dart or to take a Genty.
So a team we haven't talked about, like what the Rams could trade up. Like the Rams still need some pieces. And I saw it, like a lot of people think that they could trade up for one of the top tight ends. So like what if the Rams traded into the top 10, which Warren? They have been aggressive in the draft in recent past. They are not against trading, future first round picks to get a guy they really like. So like imagine the Rams of all teams go and get like a Tyler Warren. They really wanted
Bowers last year.
Yes, exactly. So like now Tyler Warren's available. The Michigan tight end Colson Loveland is a dog. Yeah. And so either one of them, I really think the Rams should be looking at trading into the top 10 for this. Yeah. And I'm looking at teams like maybe the Panthers.
Tyler Warren.
Dude, they're both gonna be really good.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting.
And the Niners have 11 picks, so
I saw
they
that
could
too.
trade into the top 10 as well if they want some like an edge rusher Purdy to pair with Nick Bosa.
Yeah, they still haven't paid Purdy as well.
That too. So
it's gonna be interesting.
But that just shows you how they really do you really believe in Purdy? I would have paid him by now.
That's true. Yeah. Well, it's just getting pricier.
Yep. So.
Okay, so to go on to our next topic that we want to discuss with AJ before we let him go is this. Keep on talking about it.
NIL, man, it's getting worse.
And college football. Oh, now the Tennessee quarterback Nico
Ayama-Leava.
He's out of Tennessee because he wanted $4 million, was getting $3 million. God forbid. And now also reports coming out that they had a ton of players want to even opt out of the playoff game, which really sucks because if that was like public knowledge, I wouldn't have picked them to beat Ohio State.
No.
Because we did.
Yeah, we did. We looked like fools.
We got slammed for that.
Yeah, we looked like
and
fools.
if I would have known that this was going on, no way in hell I was taking Tennessee to win that game.
Vegas not going to let y'all get money. This
is also true. But it just goes to show, again, of how this is ruining college football in a way.
It's
where it is, we're opting out in college football now, like we're in the pros. Like, what sucks is, and I've heard other people say this, is he is going to be the example of what not to do now. His name, unfortunately,
he's the poster child.
Yes, his name is going to be labeled for a long time.
Don't be like Nico.
Don't be like this. And it's unfortunate because I do think he was a freshman last year. I thought he played pretty good for being a freshman in the SEC.
Yes.
He went to the playoffs. So it does suck. It sucks for a lot of reasons, but this is just another niche of what has just turned college football, I think, from what everyone loved it to be to now a semi-pro we're arguing over millions of dollars or else I'm not playing.
This wasn't supposed to be what NIL was, at all. This was supposed to be helping players get brand deals to help them, with their name, and they would actually be able to sell their autograph and stuff like that. Not having colleges pay them to play for you. That's
you guys know why. Like, they should have known. Tennessee should have known this guy was going to leave someday. You know why?
Why?
Look at his name. i75Live.
He
literally said, I'm going to leave you. He said it.
Definitely not how you pronounce it, but that is, I have never looked at it that's funny as hell. Yeah. So what does Tennessee do at quarterback now, though? Because it seems like the transfer portal's happened. Like, the quarterbacks are gone.
When I know there's another little window between spring and the fall, so there is a little bit of another window.
What are their options? AJ, are you familiar with any quarterback options for Tennessee?
I mean, not really, because that's okay. So this is a weird situation. This is the first time this ever happened. Everybody knew about this, especially because this is the first time them having two new portals. The second one after because people wanted to fill out spring season. Well, not season, but spring practice.
Yeah.
And so then you have the spring game, and some guys don't get the opportunities they think.
Yep.
But anyway, as a football player, as a person that's been through the whole 4 years and grinding for your spot, you have your vets, and then you come in and not having the whole money and all that, you really don't get you don't get over that mental hurdle. Especially football, bro. It's dudes get hurt every day, and when you go in making transactional decisions, it's never gonna pan out well for you. Because if I'm going in thinking how much money can I make, how much money, you're not gonna play. It's a brotherhood, it's a bond. When I was talking to Dylan and telling him, I'm not mad that you believe you worth that much, because at the end of the day, if roles were reversed and they wanted money from you, bro, Tennessee gonna get their money.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, bro, you leaving your brothers and you not helping them. It's spring. At the end of the day, they probably have quarterbacks on the roster already that could potentially get his spot, was waiting for his spot. So it's not really a problem. But the Penn State quarterback that transferred during the playoffs,
that's right,
bro, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Because if Drew Aller gets hurt that day, that game, you don't know what happened.
Yep.
You could have
been the hero.
But on the flip side of that, you understand why he did do that, because it's if I don't, then I'm screwed.
I mean, that's true, but you called what AJ.
That's the part that.
Look at
Cardale Jones. Cardale
Hurts
Jones, that game, what was it? It was a national championship game against, I don't remember who they played, but for Ohio State, Cardale Jones got drafted because of that night.
Well, and you can say the same thing, like AJ's saying, is the Tua and Jalen Hurts of that whole dynamic.
Exactly.
But those are great examples.
Yeah.
I'm glad we can see that. And these are horrible, especially for the kids that are just now bro, everybody wants to be the same. It's a trend now, and that's why they had to nip that in the bud. They said, bro, we cannot let them hold us hostage. This kid hold up the university hostage. No, we have to cut that, because if he does that, then everybody starts doing that.
It's a domino effect.
Wants to get into the portal.
Yeah.
Bro, and a lot of these kids are not gonna get another shot. They don't understand.
That's true.
College is not the NFL, bro. And even in the NFL, you you need to get past that second contract to show your worth, bro. Like, no, you can be replaced like that.
AJ, I got a question for you. I got a question for you though. So when you were in school, okay, this is two things. So Nico was the starter and he's leaving. He wanted more money. How would you have felt if you were a senior and all of a sudden you found out that the team transferred a guy in that you knew was going to play in front of you? How are you feeling?
I mean, that happened. That literally, I mean, it didn't happen to me, but I would say, okay, so my freshman year, this is my first time. Like, I'm going into college, right? And you a freshman, you don't really know nothing. You think this is high school stuff. Then I didn't get the reps. I didn't even play, right? And I'm like, man, what is this? Like, I've never like not played in my life. And then that following year, like I grinded, right? I did everything. I did everything I could to get a play, and then we had COVID, right? And so that whole we can only play. I only played in the spring, and so I had a senior in front of me, right? The transfer came in, and I'm like, dang, like I don't know when I'm gonna play. The second game of the spring season, he gets hurt, right? Those last two games, I ball out. I get all conference, right? Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, yeah, da, da, da. And then the next year, I get moved to corner, and then I don't have a so good. Look, I'm like, bro, hey. And then he's like, you're not as vocal enough. The senior, no, da, 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 da. I'm like, all right, whatever. I had an up and down year at corner. Then the next year, he brings in another safety. I'm like, bro, like what? Like what is this? And so every year I had to fight. Finally, but mind you, I'm all conference. I keep getting all conference, but he still has yet to let me play, right? But at the end, but every year I'm fighting. But that's what college is, and that's what the NFL is gonna be. Say if Nico, bro, because Nico came in first quarterback of his class and stuff, he thinking that
top prospect.
me personally, he throws a good ball, but he can't read the field. That's why Tennessee looking that good. Like, I think Tennessee runs very wide splits and they just throw deep balls. They don't really have a in the middle, and I don't
a
think he's
pro
that talented. So
style
that's why,
NFL type offense.
They rely on their speed. They have a lot of speed on Tennessee.
Yeah, no, you make a good point because you look at that. Well, and you look at that and you go, hey, we have created a shortcut for these college players now to where if something doesn't go right, they don't like a coach, they don't get enough money, you can just leave. Where in the NFL, if that happens and you just, no, you're not going to get signed to another team. We see it happen all the time. So
when you're going to get fined too, like a shit ton of money.
That's the unfortunate part is you're almost now setting up these kids for a little bit, like you're setting them up for failure. Yeah, you're setting them up for failure.
Yeah.
To not be successful in the NFL.
This is the wrong mindset to carry. And you're seeing it with
they messed it up themselves because to combat that before we they'll only hold your scholarship's only the semester.
Yep.
So we can get rid of you. We're not liable. So now roles are reversed. Now, like, oh, we need these guys for a contract, like 2 to 3 years now. Because if they can just leave us, then we look like. So now they're realizing how messed up their own system is. It's like a snake biting its own tail. Like, oh, now you're. So they need to. They need to take a second and maybe like rethink this whole like NIL because right now it's
a mess,
bro. Carson Beck $10 million to go to Miami for 1 year, like yo, that's backup money. like bro, like it's crazy.
It's turned into. I mean, and we've been saying it for a long time. I think people are scared to talk about it on the mainstream media because they don't want to get in trouble. But it is a problem, and it needs to be fixed.
It's the NCAA's fault, and it's like it is causing irreparable damage to some young college athletes. 100%. The ones that don't have the right support system to tell them that, hey, take a second. This is a lot of money. Don't go blowing it or make dumb decisions like we saw with the LSU situation or like the UGA with all the driving crashes and drunk driving. It's ridiculous, and these are 18-year-old kids that were just in high school like 6 months ago. Like, that's crazy. And so, the fact that no one's talking about it or blaming the NCAA for making a lazy legislation is beyond me. Like, it really is.
I think there needs to be like not classes, but like there's like, all right, you pass your first year, now you reach this threshold of what you can make. And then if there should be thresholds of what you can make, so I have to earn it instead of just relying on my high school
incentivized.
ability. And then like I got all this high school, because like how I told you, when I came into college, I didn't grind like how I was supposed to. Like your mind, you don't understand the business. This is not relationships no more, where you can just come in here, play, be your best.
Yeah.
No, like this is a full-time job, bro. Like
Absolutely.
you have to show up from 9 to 12, and then go to sleep, then come back. Like there is no off days. So when I'm giving you $1 million, you're making more money than the teachers and stuff. I'm like, man, like what are you talking about? So there should there should be progressive and then there should be classes too, like financial classes, like
absolutely.
Again, come on, you gotta take care of your investment. You can't just
these coaches lose their jobs. If you guys don't win, these coaches lose their jobs, so they don't really care about you. No. Unlike in high school, a high school team can lose every game. That coach probably isn't going to get fired.
Bro, no. I've seen so much bro, they'll cut you for anything. So like I can only imagine how these bigger schools is, and how like this money, that money makes a difference. I can't really cut you if you got 20 paying you all this money, like so they definitely need to.
So to wrap up our conversation with AJ, I want to, with one last question, who do you want the Colts to take in the draft this year?
Who's number one, baby? 15?
Who's number one on your list?
Shedeur Sanders.
I really hope it's Tyler Warren.
Yeah,
I know it.
I really hope it's Tyler Warren.
Yeah? Would you be happy with Colton Loveland, though?
He's more of a receiver than tight end.
That's true.
Not that I don't like him. I just know that Tyler Warren's getting gritty.
Yeah, like football player.
Rob Gronkowski 2.0. I'm telling you, he's gonna be something.
Did you guys get rid of your quarterback yet? Did you get rid of your Colts quarterback yet? Did he tap out?
No, they have it's a QB competition. They got Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson duking it out.
No, Richardson already tapped out. I heard he tapped out. He's good.
I just want to let you know, don't be surprised if Daniel Jones plays this season.
You think he's going to be the starter week 1?
No, I don't think he's going to be starter week 1, but I think he will be starting
at
some point.
I think he'll play too. I do. And I think he does look pretty damn good. I don't know, man.
Well, AJ, we appreciate it again. Thank you for coming on. We love doing this.
Thanks, AJ.
We're trying to involve more people, and thank you for all the insight on your
AJ
college
Schefter,
experience.
everybody.
Go Miami Dolphins. Let's go. Miami Dolphins, baby.
That's awesome. Appreciate it. Hope everything's going good down there. We appreciate AJ for stopping by. He's very knowledgeable. You know, he's been around the block when it comes to, regardless of what level of football that you played, he's seen a lot, he's done a lot. Oh, yeah. So we appreciate him stopping by, and I hope for his sake that he gets who he wants in the draft. I think
the Colts are...
That'd be pretty cool. I think that would be a good team to go to.
Could shock the world and take a quarterback.
That too. That'd be... You just never know. You just never know.
Yeah?
But yes, AJ, thank you again. We appreciate it. Yes, we also appreciate all the support that you have given us and all the feedback. You know, that stuff doesn't go unnoticed, so thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So, Dad, you said you have the golfers.
So check this out, you guys. We might actually see
Grand Slam
another Grand Slam. We might see somebody get this. We might see
who are they and what do they need to
Jordan
win?
Spieth and Phil Mickelson each have 3 of the 4.
I had a feeling it was Phil.
Jordan is only missing the PGA
Championship, which
and
is later
Mickelson
this year,
is
right?
only missing the U.S. Open.
I don't.
Those two guys are close. I could see Mickelson winning the U.S. Open.
First one of the year.
Guys, I think one of those guys may do it.
I don't think Mickelson does it. I think he's too old.
How realistic is it for Spieth to do it?
Spieth, that's very realistic. And he still has a lot of time left. He's not old, but he's not young. But
he's like Rory's age, isn't he? Like 35?
He's a little bit younger than Rory.
He can pull it off.
I think if anyone's going to do it next, based off that list, it's going to be Spieth. I don't think really Mickelson. Cool. I think is too old. He plays.
He's like 54.
He doesn't play competitively enough with all the PGA guys. I just think he'd have to have
pretty amazing.
He'd have to play better than perfect.
Jack Nicholson did it.
No, he'd have to play better than perfect, and then have everyone who is really good play shit.
Bad.
All of them.
He already like he already accomplished something like that. Like he won a championship when he was at like 51 a few years ago.
Oh
right?
yeah, and he's won the
That was
Masters how many
probably
times?
his.
Four times.
Yeah,
Has he
three or
really?
four times?
Three times, 2 or 3.
Oh man.
Yeah, Mickelson is great. I think he's a little too old.
We did look up Tony Jones, by the way, from Southern Miss. He only played 3 years. Tony Smith, sorry. Tony Jones, Tony
Three
Smith.
seasons. It was a great trade.
So he played a fifth of Brett Favre's career.
Yeah.
Not even a fifth. It was less than a fifth.
Falcons.
Good job, Falcons. But we have, so moving on to a little bit of pop culture, we've got a movie coming out in 2 weeks that I personally am pretty excited for after what the new Captain America showed me. Like the kind of route they're taking.
I agree, especially the villain. The villain is
Thunderbolts, dude.
The villain is really cool. I also the way that Daredevil Born Again ended. I don't want to spoil anything because I know the last episode just came out. I know you still need to watch. You've been waiting for all the episodes to come out. So
now
you can
it's time to binge.
So my thing though is the way that ended. You know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. It's kind of stirring a little bit of like, how are some of these other characters and some of these other stories not involved in this because of like the huge kind of uproar that Daredevil had. And you'll understand what I'm saying when you watch it, especially towards the end of the show, to where it's like, I just wanted to look at it and go, where's Spider-Man?
Well,
where some
we know
I
why
know why,
Spider-Man
and that's
can't.
why it sucks because it's the rights and all
Sony's
that bullshit.
greedy
Yes.
hands.
Where and even this with the Thunderbolts, with how this is and the villain that they are teasing in this, it's like, where's this guy?
That's Superman.
Like why are these worlds kind of not colliding when they should? And that's a little bit.
It's taking place in the same city too. Am I wrong?
I would assume
Daredevil's New York, right?
Because Avengers Tower, that's what this lady is taking over. That's New York.
Yeah, so it's
in the same because in
different
Daredevil,
universes.
Mayor Fisk is mayor of New York.
Maybe it's 2 different universes.
Maybe,
and they're just going to tie it together.
But that's not
Doomsday.
because in Spider-Man, in the last one, Charlie Cox, his character Daredevil, was his lawyer. Because that was a big. So
that is true.
Daredevil was great. If you haven't watched it, now go watch it. You can watch all the shows. But to me, there's just a little bit of like disconnect, as in where some of these other characters should be involved in this, and they should have a play because they're there. So what? Then we're just going to get another Spider-Man movie, and none of this is going to be like I don't know. That's the part to me where it's a little bit disconnect. It's a little bit kind of weird in the timeline, where I wish some of these stories were more, we saw it more integrated than it just being like, nope, they're in the same universe. Peter Parker's just, he's taking a break.
I will say
he's having an intervention, and he doesn't want to be Spider-Man for the 2 months that Daredevil, had the show happen.
He's hibernating.
Yeah.
But no, so that brings up a good point. This is why I do think DC is kind of on a better track than Marvel is, because DC is all under one little umbrella. It's all Warner Brothers. They own DC. That's it. There's no rights, there's nothing, there's no debates. Like, you can use any character in whatever project you want. Meanwhile, you got Marvel. Hulk is owned by Universal. Spider-Man is owned by Sony. Disney owns the rest, and then Fox owned X-Men forever. So it's like none of them were able to be put together and make one storyline.
And who's the big guy that left DC now, or left Marvel?
James Gunn is in charge
of the new, and that's what I was going to say.
And he directed the Guardians of the Galaxy movies,
which were some of the best.
Great.
I mean, that trilogy was great.
Oh, it was awesome.
So I would say that DC just hasn't had the right person to direct that.
Well, the
that
Superman
universe
movie comes out later this year.
There's been stuff of that, of clips
that.
of that. So I'll definitely check just because I'll check it out just because of James Gunn, because I loved the Guardians movies so much, and how he directed them and the story he decided to go. So that will be interesting to me to go see that. But yeah, that's, I just wish it was more intertwined than them just saying it's intertwined.
Well, that's like good point with the Superman movie. Green Lantern's going to be in that. Hawkgirl's going to be in that. Like a bunch of different characters. Lex Luthor's in it, and it's like an origin movie. It's not an origin movie because he's already Superman, but like Marvel can't do shit like that. Like they can't have a Spider-Man movie and randomly have like Wolverine show up. And it sucks. It's greedy. It's greediness.
So Dawson, though, another movie actually is coming out. Big movie that you're excited about, like a 20-year anniversary?
Oh, the Star Wars?
Yeah. So for anyone who hasn't, I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, you probably know, but Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, is 20-year anniversary. Mm-hmm. My personal favorite.
I think it's most people's.
Our age, I would say, because that's what we grew up with. My favorite Star Wars movie, hands down. It's 20th anniversary, so they're putting it back in the movie theaters. Go watch it on the big screen. They've got like special popcorn buckets and what they do with all the movies now. So that was pretty cool. I definitely probably want to go see that. I think I've talked to my brother about going and watching it because that was my favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
The turn of Anakin and a Darth Vader. And just the whole, I love it so much. I can rehearse the whole last scene of him fighting with Obi-Wan. I'm a big nerd when it comes to that type of stuff. The Thunderbolts though, I'm excited. I'm excited for the villain. I can't wait for the villain. That's gonna be, and I really, really hope it's not, they just don't introduce some big, huge, powerful villain and then just kill him off.
Oh, they can't kill him off.
They can't.
He's a hero later. He is Superman in Marvel. Yeah. But he's Superman with a split personality disorder, and that split personality is pure evil.
Yeah.
So that is a really cool dynamic. And Fantastic Four comes out later.
I was going to say that segments into Fantastic Four, and we have now seen more stuff about that.
And they're in their own universe. So that one actually is takes place in the 60s, and they're the only heroes in that place. Yes. So you can imagine that my prediction is Robert Downey Jr. makes an appearance and moves them over.
And then that segues into Doomsday.
I do think he's going to be in that movie. I really do think they're holding that either for a post-credit scene or he's a villain in the movie.
Yeah, kind of how
he is the main villain for the Fantastic
Isn't that your
Four.
favorite? Isn't that your favorite Marvel
Doctor Doom?
I'd say
pretty cool.
I'd say Iron Man as a whole. I was hoping they weren't gonna touch him and they were just gonna. I think
they have a way to do it though.
They do.
They're apparently gonna make his death part of Doctor Doom's backstory, and that I think is.
Which
cool.
Hey, if you do it in a cool way and it's like.
And it makes sense.
And it makes sense. And you're not tarnishing what Iron Man was to that Infinity storyline. I'm all for it. Because I think, Marvel needs something.
Don't turn him into a hero.
No. I agree. If he's going to be a villain the way Doctor Doom is.
Full blown.
Let him be because
menace.
If you really think about it, Iron Man could have been a villain.
Yeah.
Like he could have, he chose to, be the Iron Man he was. So it's kind of like the same character if you would have saw Iron Man decide to kind of do what.
He's pretty ornery. He could be really ornery.
Well, and he chose to be good. He chose to help the good guys, and he chose to do that. So this Doctor Doom thing will be, it will be cool. It will be cool to see if they do it the right way. I just don't want them to ruin.
I like the Russo brothers.
I do too, and they did really good. And I know they've come back and. They've said, no, we have a really good story to tell. And there's a reason why we're bringing back Robbie Downey Jr. and, everything like that.
I'm waiting for them to fix the Hulk, too. That's what I'm patiently waiting for because he's one of my favorites. He might be my favorite when they actually treat him right and make him a raging lunatic.
They just need to make him like the Red Hulk and just call it a day.
Oh, my God. That movie was good. I like that movie.
The other movie... The Happy Gilmore 2 sequel comes out here this summer as well.
Hopefully that doesn't suck.
So I'm hoping that they don't tarnish that. I don't think it will ruin the first one, even if the second one's bad.
No, there's no way to ruin the first one.
But I hope...
The second one can definitely be unwatchable.
I just know a lot of these movies nowadays are...
gimmicky.
We're just making it to make it because the first one was such a classic.
It's the first story's plot, but with different characters.
And I know
the first character is now a mentor and older.
Yeah.
I saw the preview. I think it's going to be good.
I hope it is.
I don't
really
think they're going
hope
to screw it up. Adam Sandler's done a lot of really his kind of humor. If you like that, I think it'll be fun.
I hope it is. I just hope it's a fun, stupid movie the way all of his other movies are.
Yeah, it probably will be.
Hopefully.
That's what I hope for that. That's
yes,
what
sir.
So, like we've mentioned, we've been saying it for weeks. We will be at the draft next week.
If any of you catch this video and you'll also be at the draft, look out there for us because we will be interviewing.
It's going to be a good time, you guys.
We will be there. I think our
time.
plan is, I'm not going to, we might try to save it for social media, but our rough plan is we want to talk to fans.
Yes.
We want to get some opinions on maybe some hot takes in football.
Predictions for the draft next season.
Of what they want their team to do. Of, little stuff like that. So I think we can do a cool little...
We can make a goal to try and find all 32.
Yeah, I know that's what some people do. Like find someone who's wearing a jersey in every fan base.
We could do that. Scavenger hunt.
It's gonna be a lot of fun though. This is the first time I'm going to a draft. This is Dylan's second time.
Yep.
It's in a very historic place with Lombardi Field. Yep. They call it what? They call it Titletown.
Lambeau Field.
Lambeau Field. I'm sorry.
Vince Lombardi statue we'll probably get to see. I'd imagine it's right outside the stadium. Yeah, and Titletown is like a bunch of bars. They'll have food trucks out, a festival. It's
like Truist Park is.
I got to go there years ago. I went there one afternoon. I had some time to kill in town.
Well, and it's right in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah, it is literally in the middle of a neighborhood. Yep, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for. I think that's my favorite part about the trip is seeing, because I mean you can argue that field, that stadium, that location is pretty iconic when it comes to football and NFL. So that's cool to kind of check that off my list of football stuff to do and to see. It's going to be a lot of fun though. It's going to be a lot of fun. We leave Wednesday. We're there Thursday. We're there for the first 2 rounds. And
technically the 3. 2 and 3 are Friday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Hopefully I'm not punching a hole in wherever I'm sitting because the Patriots lost out on Travis Hunter or
Carter. Standing and punching a hole through someone else.
Yeah, if you see me on TV in the front row of just
the guy that gets arrested.
Yeah.
So Abdul Carter's on
Drawn
the board.
Mayo.
No. Abdul Carter's on the board, right? At 4. Patriots trade back.
Oh,
with the Niners.
No way.
With the Niners.
There's no way.
And they get 6 picks.
Unless we get a haul, there's no way we're getting out of getting Carter. I don't think Vrabel will let that one happen.
Probably not. No, he needs his guy.
Yeah, he needs his guy. But yes, we will be there. It's going to be a ton of fun. And you will see a bunch of stuff social media-wise of us. If you pay attention to that, please pay attention to that. I said, we do a lot of work on this, and we enjoy what we do. And any feedback is awesome.
Yes.
That's why, guys like AJ, guys like Austin, we've gotten a lot of great feedback to try and make this show the best we can. Mm-hmm. So that's all we ask for. That's all we're trying to do. And this is just another opportunity for us to kind of expand, meet some people.
Yep.
And come up with some good ideas.
Grow the follower base for sure.
Not be the mainstream media to where we're not scared to talk about things that
we're better than that.
Like NIL money and how it's ruining
nobody's
going to
sue you guys yet.
That's nobody yet.
Yeah.
We're not big enough yet.
So yes, we will catch you in Wisconsin. Do we know what the weather's going to be like?
Yeah, it's going to be like 50, 60.
Georgia. I guarantee you that.
50s. It's not going to be.
Is it humid up there? Or is it not very
hell
humid?
no.
It won't be humid.
Hell no.
Cool. That's cool.
No. It's dry, especially right now.
That's cool. Okay, well, we will see you guys next. We will have one more episode before we do leave.
Yep, a little short one.
Because we leave on Wednesday. We're probably going to, do something before that. But yes, check out all the social media, and we will see you guys at the draft. If you're there.
Yes, sir.
And you recognize this face or this face, come up and say hi.
Yep. It's been real, guys.